Y'all ready for it? Amen. Okay, I'm so glad y'all are here. We're going to toast to libations, legacy, and ownership. Throughout history, some of the most meaningful conversations have happened over a shared meal or a thoughtfully crafted cocktail. Behind every great spirit, wine, or beverage brand is a story of vision, entrepreneurship, and the determination to build something that lasts. Our next conversation shines a spotlight on the innovators who are changing the beverage industry while creating space for new voices, new ownership, and new opportunities. Today's panel will bring together entrepreneurs who understand that building a successful beverage brand takes far more than creating an exceptional product. It requires purpose, perseverance, and a commitment to telling authentic stories. Joining us for this fireside chat are two rising voices in the beverage and spirit space who are helping expand what ownership, innovation, and representation look like across the industry. Our first guest, Branden Peters, is the co-founder of Draught. He brings an entrepreneurial perspective rooted in culture, craft, and community. Through his work, he is helping create new pathways for Black founders to build visibility and ownership in the beverage space. And he's going to be joined by Shalanda Jackson. She's the lead brewer at Second Line Brewery, her work represents the growing presence of Black women in craft beer and beverage production. Her experience brings an important lens on creativity, technical skill, and representation behind the scenes of the brewing industry. This conversation will explore what it takes to build, brew, and lead in an industry where Black founders and makers are continuing to create space, shape culture, and redefine legacy. Please put your hands together for Branden Peters and Shalanda Jackson. A little louder. Please enjoy Let's Toast, Libations, Legacy, and Ownership.
How y'all doing? Y'all can do better than that. How y'all doing? Good, good, good. Oh man, I think we got real deal heavyweights in the building, man. Shout out to the homies, man. So happy that y'all can be here for sure. As she said, my name is Branden Peters, but before we go any further, I have to shout out my brother and my business partner. Would not be sitting in the seat without him, an absolute boss in this end. You gotta stand up, stop being shy. You're not shy.
Woo-woo.
My boy Kevin Swerve Irvin, for sure. So, we are co-founders and co-owners of Draught. We're a lifestyle brand for people who love craft beer. We do clothing, we do beer dinners, we do all kind of stuff across the country and in Canada. We've had a beer in the Golden One Center where the Sacramento Kings play for the last 3 years. We've also done a bunch of collaborations and activations here in New Orleans. And this young lady who is a boss in her own right, Shalanda Jackson, has worked with us on a couple of those. So please introduce yourself to the good people.
Hi, everybody. My name is Shalanda Jackson. I'm originally from Jersey, and I started brewing over there. Yes, Jersey people. I moved down here 3 years ago, and I've been brewing at a place called Urban South, but now I'm at Second Line Brewing, which is I'm the lead right underneath the head brewer, and I'm learning more about the business aspect over there. So, yeah, that's my story.
So, to have a woman, mind you, in 1983, there were 48 breweries in America. 48. As of this year, there are, I believe, 8,266 breweries in America. Only 320 of those are owned by women. A little less, or around 80, are owned by Black people. So to have a Black woman as the lead brewer at a real legit brewery, and also brewed at the second largest brewery in the state, and I believe the 110th largest in the country, is a huge deal. So please give a round of applause for Shalanda.
Thank you.
So we're very much a rarity in this business to an extent. Why do you think that is? As somebody that's really knee-deep in it, that's brewed at a very high level?
I just feel like a lot of times people don't know that they can do whatever they want. And it's just like a lot of times people of color, we sometimes feel like we can be trapped in a box. I know now we don't feel like that as much anymore, but like becoming a brewer or doing brewing science or things like that didn't seem like even an option for people. Like originally I was a music teacher and I taught kids for 4 years before I became a brewer. So I had a completely different path. But then I always had a second job and still do, hustling, but always had a second job and I worked at a brewery and I was just like, oh, I can do this instead. So I just I happened to work there already and then found my path. But it's just like, I can do this. Like just because I had a career and now I'm doing something different doesn't mean that I just have to stick with being a teacher, even though that would have been great. But it's just like, I can try something different. There's room to be different and do whatever I want to do.
For sure. So we've had conversations before about representation and how you really started on the ground floor in Jersey before you got here and actually started brewing. So my question is to you, as a black woman and a black person, how do we go from representation, which is cool, to actually having a foothold in this business and explaining to people and showing them, yes, you can come and be a brewer. You can make wine. You can make beer. You can make spirits. It's not just about dropping a white label on something. You can actually be in the production side, the marketing side, the business side, all of that.
A lot of it just comes from confidence and just know that you are supposed to be in that space regardless of if they make you feel welcome, you belong in that space, and then you walk into that space with confidence because everybody else does. So it's like, why do we have to not be confident in things that we do? So it's just like, you just know the confidence that you're supposed to be there, and then you go to all of the conferences, you go to the beer festivals, you show up here, and you just have the confidence why you talk about yourself and your product and what you believe in, and then people will also start to believe in you as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. How many of you guys knew that beer is actually something that black people created? How many of y'all know that because of me and Swerve? So for those who don't know, 3900 BC, black Sumerian women created the first known recipe for beer because the water from the Nile wasn't good enough to drink. So they had to ferment and create beer. Literally, beer is black history. We actually own the federal trademark on beer is black history. So anytime you see it, and it's not us, please send us a DM so we can send a cease and desist.
I know that's right. I know that's right.
So it's very important for us to have representation. It's very important for us to have a foothold in this, as being in a state where there is not a black-owned brewery. How difficult is it when you walk in a room and it's like, oh, you're not a bartender. You actually back there brewing. Oh, you're not doing social media for the brewery. You actually put on the boots, come in 6 o'clock in the morning, get your hands dirty, cleaning kegs, the whole nine. So how do you work through that?
I think that goes back to the confidence and not trying to let other people psych you out. 'Cause I think sometimes they may not be doing it on purpose, but also not giving everybody the benefit of the doubt. But sometimes, a lot of times, you feel like people are trying to suck you out, but it's like, no, this is what I do. This is my job, like everybody else does here, and I'm proud of it. And if you want me, and I add on, if you want me to give you a tour of the production facility, I could do that for you too, you know? But it's just like, just not letting other people's narratives of you fold into how you believe and how you think of yourself.
For sure. Yeah. So we're on the food and wine stage, so we gotta discuss a little bit of food pairings and things of that nature. For those who don't know, there are more flavor profiles for beer than there are for any other beverage on earth.
Yeah.
More than wine, more than soda, more than sparkling waters, more than everything. So when people say, oh, I don't like beer, or oh, whatever, it's because you haven't had a beer that you like. Swerve often says, you want beer that tastes like beer or beer that don't taste like beer. And that's kind of how we bring you in. So for you, you've brewed a ton of different brews. What are some of your favorite food and beer pairings?
I'm a one-off because I just drink the beer that I like regardless. But when it comes to, I feel like, Creole New Orleans food, a lot of the lighter, crispier beers, I feel like work the best because it enhances all of like the spiciness in the food, and it doesn't like mute all of the other flavors. So it enhances everything and it doesn't like overpower. So, but I am an IPA girly and I like saisons regardless. So that's just what I do. But I do think that some lagers and ales will go best with like most New Orleans cuisine. I
For
would
sure.
say. Yeah.
So we're in New Orleans. We all eating fried. This a cheat weekend. This ain't a cheat day.
For sure.
So you sitting down having crawfish, or is it crawfish season right now?
It just ended.
It's not. All right, forget that.
You don't.
If you're
it's
having,
showing that you don't live here.
Good. No, I don't live here at all. All right. So say gumbo. What kind of beer would you pair with a seafood gumbo?
I would do seafood gumbo. Tends to be a little spicy, so I definitely would do a lager actually more because they're more smooth and it won't enhance the spiciness, but it won't take it away. But something that's more flavorful, I would do more of an ale rather than spicy. It's a little bit of a difference. So it won't be like, oh my gosh, this is like a little bit too much. It won't make it build. But for the gumbo, I would do a lager.
For sure. So being a sister, being a black woman, I mean, we at Essence, we ought to talk about it.
Yeah.
What is the most difficult thing that you've had to deal with being a black woman in this space?
There's a lot. Trying to phrase it the right way. It's mostly dealing with sometimes you having to over-explain yourself sometimes, because if I was a man, regardless of my race, if I were to say something, people would believe me the first time. So having to over-explain things sometimes does hinder. And then also the women aspect, regardless of being black or not, you should smile more. Like, no, it's 1,000 degrees in here. I just got hops all over me. There are yeast all over me. I tripped over all these hoses. And you're not telling a man that they need to smile more, but I have to hold a certain type of standard for you, even though that doesn't affect my work at all. So it's just like having to over-explain and not just taken seriously the first time, and then also like you need to smile more or be more pleasant or phrase things a certain way instead of just being like direct. Like if you're not being really respectful, there's nothing wrong with being direct, but there's a lot of other pleasantries that sometimes people feel like women have to have that men don't have to be held accountable for either.
So basically the same thing women deal with in any corporate environment.
Yes, and then plus put on physical, sweating, everything's broken, troubleshooting, and on your feet all day.
Yeah.
Right.
Gotcha.
Right.
Understood for sure. So how have you been able to, you just moved from Urban South to Second Line as a lead brewer. What were some of the things that made you, the opportunities that you have there that you may not have had at previous stops?
Yeah.
And why are you excited? She literally just started on July 1st.
Yes.
So,
yes. Thank you. Thank you. It's at Urban South, it's mostly just like working. So at Second Line, it's going to be more of like, it's a smaller place, so there are more hands in different departments. Like there's not just a marketing department, there's not just sales. We all do all of it. So we have meetings and being part of the meetings, like with the CEO and the lead beer manager, things like that. And just like, how do we get more people in here? What's the next step? Oh, there's this concert coming up. Can we do something that will get people in the door? Let's look about merch. What does merch look like? How do we do more collabs? So getting more of the questions and creating the schedules and creating the beers and creating the sides, rather than just, okay, we have this and this is what you're going to do. So I'm more on the creative side, more on the business side. And also learning more about the business and the finances and stuff. I'm really excited about that, for sure.
For sure. So a lot of, if you pay attention to news and food and beverage, there's a lot of talk about breweries closing, breweries downsizing, things of that nature. There's definitely probably in the last 2 to 3 years been almost 1,000 breweries that have closed across the country, yet we're still seeing the pattern of closing is far less for black-owned breweries and women-owned breweries, and the growth, even though it's small, is actually there. And I think a lot of that has to do with culture. Yeah. So as somebody who's in the brew house every day and breweries every day, what aspect of culture do you think a lot of these breweries are missing for getting entry point consumers in the building and not just the dude with the big beard and the flannel shirt?
Right. It's actually getting the community that you're in your door. So a lot of times, like, or people feel like they are not really for, like, beer's not for black people, or whatever stigma that we put on it. And sometimes the businesses don't help break those stigmas. So it's just like you're always going to get those same clientele, and people are drinking alcohol less overall. So it's just like, you know, when people decide not to drink, or when that clientele, the older, you know, white guy, when, you know, not to be rude, but, you know, they start passing away. Like, how do you get the, like, what's for the next people? So it's just like a lot of times the community of the brewery doesn't reflect the community that they're in. So I feel like if you're being authentic with yourself and the community that you're in, you're going to get the clientele in your door. So there is a huge disconnect,
For sure.
Yeah.
So kind of like Buick. It's like, we can only sell these cars to so many people so long. You got to switch it up.
Right, exactly, exactly.
For sure. How do you feel about non-alcoholic? Have you brewed a non-alcoholic beer yet?
Yeah, I have.
How do you feel it? Because people are not drinking as much. I know THC drinks are more of a thing now, but NAs, I just saw something today that said by 2033, I believe the growth is going to be like almost 1,000% for non-alcoholic beer. How do you feel about that?
I think it's important. It's a healthier option, but it doesn't necessarily take away the craftsmanship of it. I know that the growth in non-alcoholic beer and the flavor profile has grown a lot because of the trial and error for it. Like before, I felt like it was still missing something. It wasn't as like cohesive, but now you still get more of the other, you know, characteristics of like a beer that would have alcohol in it, like a lot of the undertones. So I do like the fact that there's still craftsmanship in the product, and it's healthier for people, because obviously over excessive in anything is not good, especially alcohol. There are really no benefits at all. I still drink beer, but you know, so it's just like you can still have a profit, you're still promoting your product, and you're thinking about your guests, you know, and you can like have one alcohol and go back and forth, you know, like let me start off with a non-alcoholic and then do my regular, and then, you know, it helps with pacing as well too. So overall, I think it's a great thing as well. Yeah.
So for somebody who is like, oh, I don't really like beer, or I'm just starting out,
okay, what
would be kind of like your gateway drug for for somebody who would like beer at some point?
I would say most of the time, if they don't like the beer, they're mostly probably liquor forward maybe. So I'll probably do like a sour or a tart, because it's more flavor forward and not have all the bitterness on the it's bitter in a way that you're used to in like a cocktail. So I would do more of like a goza or a tart, because it has like the little that people like to have. So that would be my thing.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And it depends for me. I definitely, like you said, I would, if you like coffee, I'm going to push you towards a stout.
Yeah.
If you like sweet drinks, I'm going to push you towards probably a pastry stout or maybe a farmhouse ale with a little bit of adjuncts or something like that.
Yeah.
So no, that's actually a good point. And does that happen a lot? Like, because people kind of get the misconception that people that don't like beer don't go to breweries, which is not true.
Yeah.
Like they'll pop
we
in
have like
it's
the
a community
Slurpee
thing.
machine too. A lot of times, a lot of breweries will have the Slurpee machine that's just almost like, you know, like a daiquiri for down here, and it still has, you know, a frozen daiquiri. So that's also something that's available as well.
For sure.
Yeah.
Do you see, and be honest, do you see progress in this business, or is as far as getting more women, more black people into it, or are we kind of at a stalemate right now?
It's a mixture. I think for me, I have seen progress overall. I just think that we're being down here in New Orleans, it's been really slow.
Yeah.
It's been really slow. I have seen a lot of progress in other states, especially like in the Northeast and things like that, especially with MJF, and people are still currently able to get scholarships.
Most people don't know what MJF is, so talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so MJF is it's a scholarship for people of color to go into any type of fermentation. So whether it be brewing, winery, distilling, or food, it covers all of those aspects. So it's to get more people of color into those things. So yeah, I have seen it more in the north, but in the south, it's still a little slow. But like in the south, in New Orleans, it's more cocktail forward. So I've seen great bartenders come out of the city, but a lot of people in the actual fermentation part, it's been still a little slow. Yeah.
I would say I remember when all you were going to get here was a Beta,
Yeah.
which is very basic beer.
Yeah.
Now, even though the scene is not as popping as a lot of other cities, it is a million times better than it was even 5 years
And
ago.
New Orleans is really not that big. It's
No,
really
yeah.
compact, but it's not a huge city, you know?
Right.
Yeah, it's very small. But yeah, that's what I've seen, like a lot of great bartenders, especially through Turning Tables, which is a great thing in New Orleans for getting black bartenders into those high-end restaurants.
Yeah.
So I've seen great work come from there, but not of people like me in the back end of actual fermentation. It's been really slow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, as far as progress, again, there are organizations, one of which you're a part of, Pink Boots. Can you
Yeah.
talk a little bit about that?
So Pink Boots is women and non-binary and people who identify as women. It's a fermentation society, and there are different chapters, I believe, across the world, but I know it's mostly in the United States forward. And we have a chapter in New Orleans, and we have meetings, monthly meetings, and it's for women to in all aspects, whether you ferment or you're in sales or you're in marketing, as long as you work in a fermentation company, you're allowed to incorporate into Pink Boots. So then it's just a way you can like just decompress with people and learn from each other, and also like, you know, how are you doing this, how are you doing that, or how do you deal with these types of situations, and you grow and build it together.
Okay. So, final question, final talking
Yeah.
point. In your opinion, what is the future of beer?
I would say beer is going to be in, I don't want to say it like that. Next question.
Keep it
Let me go.
100. Keep it 100, Shalanda.
I would just say the future of beer is simpler. I would say it's simpler. I feel like people are trying to just overcomplicate stuff, and it's like, not to make it super, super simple, but it's alcohol. It's supposed to bring people together. It's not supposed to separate us. It's not supposed to do all these things, which a lot of times it does. It creates beer snobs and this, that, or home brewers versus blah, blah, blah. I just feel like when it comes down to how it started, we made it at our house with our family, for our community. That's simpler. And it's just getting back to, it's supposed to be simpler. Yeah. Yeah.
I agree. And I also think the future of it is us.
Yep.
At the end of the day, there was a time when tequila wasn't cool.
Yeah.
There was a time when vodka wasn't cool.
Yeah.
Time when whiskey wasn't cool. All of those things became cool because of us.
Yeah.
We are always the early adopters. We are always the people that make things cool to
All
the
the time.
masses.
All
So
the time.
it is up to us to barrel and flow.
Yep.
Atlantucky in Atlanta, Bruising Banter in Delaware,
Crafting actions in Atlanta, right?
Crafted for Action in Atlanta.
Yep.
Anywhere you go in a city, go to that black-owned brewery that has one. Go to a brew bar, ask them what's popping, and obviously support black folks, support women, but also support local breweries that are allies.
Yes.
We've done a bunch of collabs with large breweries across the country. Most of them black-owned, some of them are not.
Yeah.
So it's really up to us to keep this thing going. And also, most importantly, follow Draught Season on social media. DARUGHT Season on social media. Really appreciate y'all. Thank you, Essence. Thank you, Coca-Cola, for doing the food and wine stage. And we'll see you soon. Peace.
Thank you.